we're gonna transition to championship round NFL playoff reactions. Couple great games. Obviously, we got a rematch in the Super Bowl. Chiefs Eagles. Chiefs, well, really Eagles blew the doors off of the Commanders. Um, 55-23. The Chiefs Bills was much tighter, 32-29. Another all-time classic in the volume of Mahomes versus Allen. Obviously the Commanders Eagles game featured Jaden Daniels, rising star in NFC East, and we got a vintage performance from the one and only Saquon, the incomparable. It's becoming incomparable Saquon Barkley. 15 carries, 118 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dude, he averaged 8 yards a carry. Every time he touched the ball, it was damn near first down. Like it's ridiculous, man. And receivers did okay. AJ Brown had almost 100 yards. Dallas Goedert had 85 yards. Devontae Smith had 445. But yeah, man. I guess we'll just start. What you think of the game as a whole, and what stood out to you in the matchup? Okay, Pope.
And the Eagles Commanders, what stood out to me is Saquon. I mean, he got the ball first play. They got the ball. He took it to the house. So I mean,
$60, bro. Like what the?
I mean, he just took it to the house. So and the rest, I want to call the Redskins, the Commanders defensive coordinator was talking before the game. He was like, "Hey, Jalen Hurts, basically we're gonna hit you. We're gonna treat you like a running back.
We're gonna see what you got."
But y'all should have been hitting Saquon because he hit his head on the goalpost. He was tearing them
several times.
Every time he touched the ball, 8 yards, a first down, breaking long runs. It was just, and then even the backup, the little white dude, the rookie, broke some runs at the end of the game. I think he scored the last.
Oh, Will Shipley. Yeah. Will Shipley. Yeah, no. Kid's a beast. He had a touchdown too.
So it's just like it was an all-around great team performance for the Eagles. They stepped on the Commanders.
Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts had matching hat tricks, rushing touchdowns.
That's crazy.
3 apiece. And just throw an extra in from Will Shipley just for good measure. Like it's different, bro. It's different out there running the ball, toting the rock out in Philadelphia. I mean, they have the best O-line in football, like bar none. Like, I mean, I don't know how long it's been that way. I mean, obviously it's been that way for a while. They had Kelsey, the MVP tackle,
Lane Johnson.
You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, man. Like, so obviously they have a culture established. When it comes to running the football and offensive line coaching out there in Philly, man. One thing that I would say had to have stood out to me. I'd probably say Hurts, man. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, like I'll be honest. I was one of those guys who was like, who I want to say I still am of the school of thinking because I have kind of seen the light a bit, especially after his. I mean, granted, I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is a scrub. That's not what the message is here. The message is just, as a quarterback, he doesn't consistently look like the most polished passer. That's literally it. You know what I'm saying? But he's continuing to shut people like me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and in this game, NFC Championship game, 20 completions, 28 yards, 246 passing yards, touchdown, no picks, pass rating of 110. You know what I mean? So obviously he's not just a competent quarterback. He's playing the position great. And it's not his fault that he has an all-time back in Saquon Barkley backing him up. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. But he played his butt off, played his ass off, and added 3 more touchdowns on the ground. You know what I mean? So I mean, he's playing MVP ball. We'll see what they do in Super Bowl. I can almost assume that Spags is gonna dial something up. is gonna have gonna take something away. Hopefully it's the kid in the backfield, but we'll come back to that. So I guess we'll transition to Bills Chiefs. How about those Chiefs? But yeah, bro. So yeah, man. Same scenario, brother. So like, I mean, reactions of the game as a whole, and then what stood out to you.
First of all, this game pissed me off. Let me just say this here: the Bills had so many opportunities to capitalize, and it just they couldn't. It's just like it was just like they when that opportunity came, it was just like that door was shut. That the Chiefs had that bend but don't break defense. So they allowed certain things to happen, but when it was time to cash or when it was time to make a play, they made that play. Right? They got Pat Mahomes back on the field. If it's fourth down, they made sure they got the stoppage. I mean, especially that one stoppage where Josh Allen tried to quarterback sneak it, and I was highly upset about that because you had James Cook who was running the ball pretty well throughout the game. I don't understand why they didn't use James Cook even more. You know what I mean? I mean, every time he touched the ball, it was it seemed like he getting 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah, he
So
averaged 6.5 a carry.
see, that's what I'm saying. So it's just like I think they tried to do too much. And when you play the Chiefs, it's okay to just keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. That's the term that I like to use.
It's a good one.
And, and I feel like you're averaging 6 yards a carry. Give it to your backs. The Chiefs struggled against the run. We saw that the previous week against the Texans. The Texans torched them on the ground. So that's a weakness of the Chiefs. Run the ball. So, but what stood out to me was Josh Allen. Josh Allen, although the Chiefs won, Josh Allen balled out. You know what I mean? He did everything he could to keep his team in the fight. Um, but at the end, it just wasn't good enough. They couldn't stop that Chiefs team. I think the Chiefs play very good situational football. They understand, and those you don't know, me and Paceo played on the same team in high school. So we know football. So one thing that championship teams are good at is knowing the moment, knowing when we need to step up and play situational football and capitalize on it. We may have given up 300 yards, but if it's 13-12, you know what I mean? We were up by one, and it's fourth down and 5, and everybody on that defense or offense know, hey, we got to get whatever we need to get, or we need to stop whatever we need to stop, and everybody do their job, we're gonna be okay. And that's what the Chiefs do. Everybody does their job. So that was my two takeaways. The Chiefs has great situation awareness, and Josh Allen balled out.
Yeah. Josh Allen definitely balled. I feel like it was a lot of great quarterback play. Let me just check back to Jaden Daniels. Okay, so Jaden Daniels was the only quarterback this past championship weekend that did not have a passer rating of 100 plus. Josh Allen had 104. Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts obviously had 110, and Patrick Mahomes had 111. So it was some great quarterback play throughout this conference championship round. Josh Allen specifically, 22 completions, 34 attempts, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Took a couple sacks, lost about 10 yards, QBR 71, which is pretty fucking high. Excuse my French. And then added another about 40 yards on the ground, average about 3.5 yards a carry. So he was definitely trying to put the team on his back, doing everything that he could to try and erase this narrative that he just cannot beat Patrick Mahomes in the postseason. I think he drops like 0-4 versus Mahomes in the postseason. So obviously that's not great when you're talking like legacy right now. He's definitely giving very much Peyton Manning vibes, and that's hard for me to say being a Colts fan. There's a horseshoe underneath this purple and gold right here. But yeah, man, I honestly think that they overachieved this season. Honestly, like the Bills from the way the season started and them trading Stephon Diggs and having this whole narrative about them having to take a step back because they don't have a real wide receiver or a real number one wide receiver, and then they go get Amari Cooper, and he's serviceable up until what seems like are the biggest games of the season. He kind of just goes ghost. I mean, even last week, 4 catches, 33 yards, 8.3 yards on average. You know what I mean? Like that's not, Mac Hollins turned into the greatest receiver, over the playoffs. You know what I mean? Um, so I think they overachieved, and then I think Josh Allen was still playing with a broken hand. You know what I mean? So he was out there just grinding it out. Um, but yeah, man, honestly, if I would have to say, my biggest takeaway from this, I would probably just agree with you about this, the situational football and the style that the Chiefs play in order to win, because they didn't have anyone run for over 70 yards. They didn't have anyone with more than 10 carries average over 4 yards. Um, Xavier Worthy, a rookie, was their leading receiver with 6 catches and 85 yards and a tug. You know what I mean? Juju stepped up, but he only had 2 catches. Juju made one of the biggest plays of the game. Samaje Perine, his 1 catch was the biggest play of the game. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think Andy Reid and his coaching staff are out here playing chess when everybody else just playing checkers. You know what I mean? However, the Eagles are pretty darn good at chess too. Um, I was watching on Pat McAfee show. They like to break down the O line. AQ Shipley breaks down like the O lines, and he ranks them. I give out the Shipley Award and everything. And he put the Eagles first. He had the Eagles first in O line, but he had them like fourth or fifth as far as like best teams still remaining in the playoffs at that time. And what he keyed on was how a lot of times the Eagles will fake pull or feint pull, and then they'll actually pull and like hit you with a counter. You know what I mean? They're setting this stuff up all game, and that's the Chiefs' game as well. You know what I mean? Like the Chiefs are probably the best at it. The Eagles still pretty damn good at it. Um, but yeah, man, it's gonna be another clash of the Titans. Honestly, you got probably the greatest quarterback of all time. It's getting there. Three-peat. I feel like the conversation can be had. At least one of the greatest runs at quarterback of all time. And just to go like right along with that, one of the greatest seasons we've ever seen a running back have, at least from a statistical and impact and visual perspective. Like, I mean, some of the things that we've seen Saquon Barkley do this year do not seem real, do not seem human. They literally had to add something to Madden that they had never had in Madden before he did it this year, which was hurdle a guy backwards. Like, like it's insane like what this kid is doing. And I'm just glad that he's healthy and we get to watch it as really good football fans. So